this gathering. Thank you so much for being here. Those of you live, of course, also those of you who are watching the recording, perhaps later. Thank you for hearing the call and so just very briefly, I was very drawn as a teenager already to the energy of Auset. There was such a longing to heal, to soothe my heart. I was in a very, very deep depression for a number of years, and I was living in Egypt with my family, and I just couldn't go back to the ways I knew to connect to God. And there was a longing for something more nurturing and more holding and embracing of me. And it wasn't until I first of all found a poem to Auset, and then slowly over time I started reading more about her. And there I realized, like, oh my God, this is what I need. I need those arms of full acceptance, and that say that I am worthy just the way I am, because at that time I felt so unworthy of anything, really. And I was really desperately seeking some connection to something that felt true and loving and kind. And I couldn't find that in my surroundings. So she is that force of nature that is, like, in a way, the great mother. But she's also, when I say a force of nature, that doesn't mean she's a goddess outside of us. She is us. She lives in our blood. She lives in our cells, in our DNA. She lives in our deep, deep feelings. She's so connected to our water body and to our emotions. Therefore, when working with Isis or Auset, we tend to connect more to our bloodline, our ancestry. We start to connect to our sensations of feelings, emotions, and we welcome them. Not all the forces of nature. So in Egypt, there weren't gods and goddesses. There were forces of nature. They were called neteru, neter. They were forces of nature, natural intelligences. They lived everywhere outside and inside of us, because we were just a little part of this great web of life, right? We're not so separate from life. We're just, what are we? What is this body? Food that we've eaten over time, water that we've drunk. There's intelligences moving through us. And then there's also these intelligences that create the anatomy that is of course, our body, but there's an anatomy of our spirit. And in that anatomy, they start to come together and weave, and in this beautiful dance, create what we are as a human being, a human form. And in that lies everything from our imagination, Hathor, Heteru, memories, Isis, Auset. She is the memory line. Memories. Who are we without memories? Even who you are right now and what you will probably do in the next hours or day, those actions come from memories. You are programmed on memories. And so that is the power when working with Auset. She works in that line of memory, and we have the power to shift and transform through trance, through movement, through breath, through our emotions, through feeling and deciding from that core place how we're going to shift that new pattern into our life. It's patterns, weaving patterns. DNA is weaving patterns, right? Everything is woven in spirals and patterns. So as we work with Auset, we start to connect to this great pattern, these great beautiful patterns that live within us. And we have the power to transform them through breath, through sound, through movement, through feeling, through accessing trance-like states, through moments of incredible intimacy, incredible openness, not only with others, but ultimately with the source that is everything in life and everything in creation. It's like, oh my God, take me, please, everything. Take it, use my body, my heart, my mind, my soul. I want to offer and give up everything to you. What is that word, to give up? Sometimes it's healthy to give up, right? There's this thing like, if you give up, you're weak, right? But what if you give up because you just can't hold it all together anymore in your survival tactics and all the ways you make it happen? What if some part of you needed to give up so that everything would just for a moment return to the softness, to a state of ultimate naturalness? And there you can just give it all up. and relax and not need to be someone or anything. Just relax. Surrender, surrender, surrender. And in those moments, that's when she comes in. She's like, hello. Like, finally, there you are. Ah, you're open. And she moves through and dances us in such beautiful ways. Those are wonderful moments. You see, her medicine, unlike the other forces of nature, which can be really about will and presence and meditation and discipline, hers is cry, beloved, cry. Cry your tears, cry, feel it all. Be held in that, soothe yourself. Now don't be hard anymore. Let yourself be like a baby in my arms. Rest, 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 rest your mind. Rest your doing, rest your trying. Please let your personality, your doing, your agenda all for a moment dissolve. There's nothing there. You're not going to take any of that with you other than this moment of utter simplicity. That's what we ultimately have when we pass through, when we die. Those moments we take through us, they're so precious. So we want to build that up. So we have more moments like that in the day. Moments of such surrender, sweetness, softness, not trying, not being anyone at all. So let's just take a breath into that for a moment. Oh. Yeah. And maybe sometimes it even helps us to open the chest a little and even open up the hands, like they're like, oh, to give up. So feel right now, is there anything in your life that you're pulling together, you're making happen? And just for a moment, like these simple moments of just meeting that source, that presence, that is all of life in your breath, in your heartbeat, in your circulation. Oh, we'll keep listening to those knocks on our door inside that say, hey, come here for a moment, be still. I need you to listen. I need you to listen so much to what's beating in my heart, to what's singing in my soul, to what I really, actually, really need and desire right now, from the outer noise, from everything, all the clutter, distractions, all that, to a moment to arrive to this space of utter simplicity, ultimate connection to something so true and real and so sacred. Oh, so as we work with Auset, as we invite her, we make space for her. And also as we work and invite her, she will bring up the unfelt, the unspoken, the uncried, the things that are lying in our deep darkness, because there is where the power lies. She is power. All of them are about power. And it is when we access those places that we have maybe forgotten or denied or locked up or closed ourselves off from. When we access those places very gently, softly, willfully, there in our lost tears, in the things we said that maybe we regretted, or the things we didn't say, all those things start to come up to the surface and we realize, they actually want to be felt. And not felt so that we go into a spinning spiral, because remember, she weaves. She can also take you to hell. You can weave. Oh, why? Oh my God. La, 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 la. Well, that's where your power comes in, beloved. That's when you're like, okay. So there's all of this that's rising to be felt. In that moment, it's like, let me make space for that. Knowing that it comforts you, even if it's uncomfortable to feel. It's not about spinning and spiraling, because that is a big spiral down into a place I call the never-ending pits of sorrows, right? We can cry forever. Nothing ever will, we can go there. We can regret forever. We can feel guilt. But then when we work with her, we're not inviting that. That's one aspect that can happen, but we're inviting the total opposite. We're inviting to feel it, and in that way to lift ourselves up from the muck, lift ourselves up from the mud, grow from that, feel the power, feel the depth of what's there, and rise with it, become stronger from it. Oh my God, that thing that happened that I did, I regret it. What did I learn? What did I learn from that? Embody that learning, take it with all your heart into your life, transform it, and then again, rise. So she has wings, right? She is winged. Not all of them have wings. Some of them have wings, these forces of nature. What does it mean to have wings? It means you fly, you rise. But also she goes down, deep down into the mud and rises. So I don't know where you are in your phase at this moment. Maybe some of you are more in this, I don't want, like, that phase, like, oh, leave me alone, like, or it's like, oh, this heaviness on the heart. Something is heavy on your heart right now. Or maybe you're flying and you feel light and you're happy. And right now, all you want to do is invoke more of that, knowing that everything in life is cycles. And as you go down into the depths, you will rise. And as you rise, there will be a moment where you gently fall. And as you keep doing these cycles, the fall becomes a soft landing into a very beautiful space of rest, as opposed to hitting yourself down into the muck again, right? But it takes practice, and it takes learning, and it takes mistakes. And over time, something starts to emerge that is rooted and wise and grounded. So let's take a breath into that. So Auset works with water. She is water. She is water. So as we keep inviting water into our life, we drink water every day to survive. We need water. It's to connect to water more consciously, to allow water to nourish us, to drink it with the sense of Auset, Isis, devotion. So I invited you to bring some water with you for this call. I don't know if you have. If you haven't, that's fine. But we're just going to take a moment, if you do have some water. You perhaps just connect to water. And if you don't have water, that's okay. You can work with your saliva. But if you so just connecting for a moment to water. There it is all the time in your blood, moving through you. It's complete intelligence. There's studies done that a drop of water contains so much memory, like even supercomputers with memory cannot store like water can store memory. Water is memory. Water flows through every cell, through all our nerves, through all our muscles, and through our bloodline, through blood. So inviting this connection to water, and as you perhaps sip this water, sip it with that feeling of, that invocation to connect deeper to Auset, Isis, in your life, to welcome her into your world, your inner world, your outer world. To moisturize, to hydrate all the dry places in your life, whether it's your creativity or your relationships or your bank account or your whatever it is, your heart, love, to with water moisturize that back to fullness. So maybe there's an area of your life right now that you wish to hydrate. And remember, you're not just doing it for you so that you're doing it for, in a way, to her, to moisturize that part of her, you, her life within you. So if it's relationship, money, whatever, your sexual life, your creative life, your intellectual life, allow this water to drip there gently. Water shifts its molecules to structure into very beautiful patterns, and you've probably seen this work before, that water shifts its patterns. And remember, Auset is all about patterns, shifting those patterns inside of us by the simple act of drinking water. Maybe, perhaps, why not, right? Mm. As we come to complete this water part, remembering also for those in female bodies, she, as she is water, she lives inside our blood, which also for women is their menstrual blood, if you're still bleeding, and if not, it's that energetic bleed after your menopause. But it is that blood that you shed that connects us to her also, and also any fluid really, semen also, these fluids, these powerful fluids that create life within that water, these waters. And also for those who have stopped bleeding, or some women don't bleed at all, it's not to say that it's completely gone. You've got an energetic water. You can feel that fertile water. Women in their 80s, 90s that I know, 60s, 70s are so creative in their fertility because they've never lost that cycle. It always lies within them. So we want to invite that connection also to blood, to semen more ritualistically. When we bleed, but also when we seed, of those in male bodies, that you seed with this understanding that there is a tremendous power in your semen. So she lives in all the water, which means she's constantly with us, always with us, soothing us. So I want to share just a little bit, but please invite you to use the chat. If there's anything that comes up, if there's something you want to express, allow the energy to move here, please. I don't want to feel like I'm just speaking at you. If there's anything you need to share, unmute if you want to at any moment. Just say, oh, I'd like to express this. Please do that. Your prayers, your shares are welcome here. And as I've shared, she lies in waters, and her magical potion of waters is tears. And tears are probably, for some, very easy to shed, and for others, the hardest thing. But part of the whole journey, if we're going to work with the ancient Egyptian path, is about lightening the heart. And the way to lightening the heart so it becomes as light as a feather, often we need to start right down there at the root of it all. And the root of it all lies in our past memories. And there we need to water those past memories. There we need to shed our tears from when we were 5, from when we were 10, from when we were 15, from the journey of our life. And as we access these tears, with every tear that we shed, we bring in a lightness to our being. And so she's very important. So I'm fighting perhaps a moment of allowing us to connect to those beautiful, more sensitive, simple, delicate places, inviting you to perhaps close your eyes or keep them open as you feel. Breathe into the heart, to breathe into the many stories of the heart, the many heartbreaks of the heart, and to breathe through those cracks. To allow our heart to feel so deeply. To listen to the heart, to its longing, deep longing. The longing cares nothing for outer successes. It cares so deeply to merge with all that is true, with all that is sacred and innocent. Allowing the heart to tremble. Maybe memories come up. Maybe it's still. Breathe, feel. What is your heart longing for? Calling for? Feelings weigh the heart, guilt and shame. Allow them to move, express, be felt, vibrate. Regrets and sorrow. Falling down, feel it. If you need to stroke your throat or touch your heart or even your belly, do that if you need to support this. Find the soothing in this feeling, this breath. Oh. Remember to not go into the mind with the story, but to feel it in the heart and to breathe, to sound, to vibrate, to touch your heart, maybe even hug yourself. Just see that you stay in the body, feel it. And as the breath moves through the cracks of the heart, also feeling maybe where it opens, expands, where you can breathe deeper, more fuller. Allow yourself to become known to yourself, a comfort to yourself. Whatever was in the past is here to grow, to nourish, to fertilize your own living wisdom. Accessing even the power that lies within the feelings, the power that lies underneath all these feelings. So much power, so much life that chooses to live through you. When these feelings are felt, things are reconciled. Inner patterns find a closing, so a new pattern starts. So allowing a nice deep breath into the body. And for those of you that have brought a candle, whenever you are ready, be clear, is to light that candle to ignite light in the darkest places here in the underworld, to shed a light that will journey with you, navigate and bring you, rise you up all the way to the sun above you. That there is a journey. This is a journey. The journey with Auset is a journey. It's not a moment. journeying with her, to invoke her, to journey with her is wonderful, deep, asks for devotion, asks for your preparation to allow her to take you into the depths so that you can be in bliss in your heights and to journey with both. For she does not make a difference between dark or light, good or bad, failure or success, old or young, black or white. For her, there's no distinguish. It's only our parts of our brain that separate. For her, it's all the same. She welcomes you, which is not she is you, welcomes you in your totality, not trying to be something else, not wanting, just your totality, welcoming all your parts, all your parts. So when you are ready to light that candle, to shed light, so that there is no judgment of all your parts, that they are all loved by you, embraced and transformed, the ones that need to be transformed. The more sometimes we say, I'm going to cut off this, I'm going to disconnect, I'm done, kill that, burn it. Yes, it can work in some ways, and sometimes we reinforce energy into that. But when we work with Auset, we welcome and embrace it all as a part of creation, as a part of creator, and as a part of our own power of co-creation. So whenever you're ready, you can light that candle as a choice, a moment to say, I welcome your light through my darkness, through my brightest dark, all of it, to be with me, to support me, to guide me on this journey of coming home to my totality. You don't have a candle, you can imagine that inside of you, inside of your heart, there is a candle, and it is lit by a spark of your devotion. Devotion to journey with Auset, with Isis. She will ask everything of you and give you everything. She will ask of everything, to let go of all the things that you need to feel whatever, put together all the mechanisms. They will start to dissolve as something real and authentic comes through. So to trust that process, lighting a flame of trust. And the final share about Auset is she's so powerful in her longing to reunite all the scattered pieces of her beloved. So I'm not going to share the full story here. I have quite a number of other places where you can hear the story. It's a very long and very beautiful story. But the brief one is that Seth, the force of nature, chaos and destruction, cut up Osiris or Osar and split him into many pieces all around Egypt. And it is her devotion, her love, her passion, and her grieving and mourning and desperate longing to have him back that is part of the journey of reclaiming our power, reclaiming our lost parts. So we are by nature born scattered, We don't remember our entire lineage, our history, every memory. We are born in this way. We're fragmented and scattered. It's part of the journey of life to assemble ourselves, to remember ourselves. Remember. Member is like a piece. Remember is to put together all the pieces to remember ourselves. It's the whole purpose of life. So if you're feeling super fragmented, no idea what you're even doing on this call, what even is happening in your life right now, you feel a bit crazy, you feel a bit discombobulated, you're seeking for something, nothing is making sense. Whatever it is that you're going through, or maybe you feel great, or maybe you are in a phase where you just cannot stop crying, or maybe you feel like you're in a phase where you just want to understand it all, whatever it is. Those are all the phases of working with her. She has many phases, and I go through this in some of the other work I do, using our will, grieving, going crazy, going mad. All those aspects are part of her. Remember, she asks for one thing: don't judge me, which means don't judge yourself and your process. Hold it as sacred, whatever it is. It's vital when connecting with her. Don't judge yourself, because there is that critic in the mind that constantly wants to separate and disconnect yourself from her, from reality, from life, from others, from love, from what is true. And that is just a force of nature. It's in everyone. We were created that way. It was that way from the beginning of time. Once we started to use our greater mental faculties, we have that part of us that just dismembers and disconnects. That's just who we are. And then there's another part, but through devotion, we allow the remembering to get stronger than the disconnecting part. That's the reptilian brain. It so wants to survive. It will do anything to survive. And what happens is that reptilian brain, in a way, grows into their other faculties until other parts of our brain are more in mastery, that we can actually lean back at some point and be like, thank the goddess, now I can lean back more into my slowly emerging mastery, which is our devotion, our power, our will. We start to move through life more than the part that constantly wants to separate us. There'll be more ease and love and joy. And yet we need to go through that process of understanding, first of all, accepting, second of all, maybe even learning to love ourselves the way we are, because that's just who you are. The brain disconnects, and there's other parts that you can train, love through devotion to bring your mind back more into totality. So that's the part of her. She goes and finds these parts to put them back together. What are these parts? Our scattered self, but it's also our soul that has been fragmented. We forget who we are, and slowly on the journey, as we do the work, a part of us comes back, maybe whatever. For some, it's through past life regression. From others, it's working with ancestors. I think it's all of it put together. Your inner child work, your 5-year-old, that part that got so disconnected when you were 5 because you felt such a deep incident that left you so frozen and scared. You fragmented another part of you. Maybe your first heartbreak at 12 or 14 left another scar, another fragment. And slowly over time, as you bring these parts, come here, my little 5-year-old self. Why don't you sit here in my heart? You're safe now, Oh, come here, my little teenager. Oh, you were so hurt and abused. What do you want? You want to hear that song you love? Wonderful. You want to go dancing? Let's go dance. You like that dress? Let's buy it. But there's like this way of bringing these parts back, Oh, my grandmother, her story. Welcome, grandmother, into my inner world. Can I light a candle for you? What did you, to start to welcome our different scattered parts back, whether they're from our ancestral line, whether you want to call it through timelines, whether through this timeline and this body, all these parts start to come back. But then there was one missing piece, and that missing piece was the phallus, right? She couldn't find the cock of her beloved. And so what she had to do was make it. And at this point, she had gone through so much. She was like, I don't care anymore. I'm going to make it myself. Like, I'm done searching. I'm going to make his phallus and bring him back to life. And she did. She made a phallus out of clay and put it on his dismembered body and rode him with passion and with delight and with ecstasy and with that sexual power through her body and her longing to draw his seed into her. She impregnated herself with the seed of Horus, the seed of Heru, the soul, our soul spark into the world. It's us reborn as Heru. Heru means our king, queen, sovereign nature. The part of us that is ready to say we have gained sovereignty. It means no one can, in a way, push us around anymore. But it's not like we've become powerful, that we're going to show everyone that we're powerful. You know, it's not like I'm powerful now, I need your approval. No, it's I am powerful and I know it from deep inside because I've gone on this journey of reclaiming my parts. I've used my sexual power. I've used it to magnetize, to ignite my life force energy all the way through my spine, all the way to conception with the power of this inner union. It's in us. This Isis-Osiris union is inside of us. And when we access that and allow them to merge in very deep lovemaking, what does that mean? It means we make love to life itself. We make love by breathing in life. We make love by self-pleasure. We make love in that moment where we in nature, completely naked, open-armed, like fully riding the waves of ecstasy, riding from our womb, from our yoni, from our phallus, all the way through the body, letting it lift us up into orgasmic energy. That has the power to spark and magnetize new ways, new life. So working with sexual energy was also a component with working with Auset. But it's not just that, right? It's a whole process. It's a process of lying on the floor, crying fully, like, take me, I can't do this anymore, to sexual power, there's so many stages. And I'm sure many of you here know that because you've gone on so many workshops and so many places and so many things to access this inner power, this inner union. Okay, I will leave it at that now. I've said enough, I believe. So let's take a deeper breath into that. So if you're interested in going deeper, last month, July, I'm offering every month, actually it's called an introduction into Egyptian Tantra, every month per weekend, 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday, 1 week, and in every month designated to union, to understanding this Egyptian alchemy of how to use and support our transformation through not just sexual energy. It's also soul. A lot of it is actually sexual energy as an aspect of it, but a lot of it is understanding how our soul, our being, our entire anatomy operates and bringing union into the different parts of our being. So if this speaks to you, there'll be, you can find that link on my website, and also any other journeys with Isis, doing in December a 1 month long Isis pilgrimage just for women this time. But if you feel called to meet Egypt and walk through Kemet and meet the temples and drink of the water and be on the land and go through a shamanic journey with the land, also in November, there's a few more spots left for men and women. So there are ways to access this work deeper. This was just a tiny taster for you. So if you have a flower, you can bring it. So inviting this flower to be a symbol of your sexual power. And it might seem very strange that this little flower would be a symbol for your sexual power. To feel the stalk, the rise. This flower has been through the earth as nothing, a tiny seed in the earth. a tiny seed in the earth. And from that rose a tiny shoot. And from that it grew and grew all the way into an opening flower that is the elixir of honey and sweetness of life. So imagining for a moment your sexuality as this flower, from the seed that lies within your womb or seed in the male body, your egg or sperm, you can call it like that, connecting to that power now in the water of your egg or sperm. And if you are in menopause, please connect to it energetically. It's still all there. And allow this flower to give you the transmission of rising in sexual energy. Not you, the flower you're connected with. Learn from the flower, learn from nature, learn the art from nature. Perhaps your body wishes to simply move in gentle waves. And allowing the base of your body, the area between your perineum and anus, the PC muscle, maybe even just contract and expand ever so gently. As you inhale, you squeeze it softly. As you exhale, allowing the subtle, gentle rivers of water flow, eros, life, to flow through your spine. Tracing the way of the flower from the ground up towards its lifting, even towards its opening, towards the honey. And you can even taste the honey in your mouth. Taste the sweetness that is this erotic energy, so subtle, so sacred, so pure, so from nature. Helps to lick your lips sometimes, to taste it, to feel it, to caress your body, allowing the caress to enhance the ripples of this energy that gives rise to everything and fall to everything. Rise and fall with it. For orgasmic energy is the rising and falling of all things. To ride that energy like Auset rode the energy, riding the waves to bring life into your body. As the final invocation will be to find her through pleasure. And if you need to journey through pain for whatever reason, that you journey through the pain into pleasure, that you live a life of pleasure. More and more inviting pleasure as your prayer of ecstasy, as your prayer of devotion to Auset, to Isis in your life. the longing of Isis merge, to unite, to ignite, to come together, to remember. And one of the ways is through sexual energy. One of the ways, and by sexual energy, I don't mean sex with another person. I mean this nectar, this honey that flows through the body when you relax your mind, your body, receive the pleasure that is there in every breath. Every moment there is a drop of pleasure waiting to be drunk in. And maybe the heart or the body feels ways it has connected through pleasure and feels even some sadness or heaviness. We allow the pleasure to move and caress those parts of you that feel heavy into more lightness. There's always a new beginning to everything. Everything that ends, there's a new beginning. There can always be a new beginning for how you live your life, sensually, with pleasure, connected to her, connected to life itself. Always a new beginning. Whatever you've done in your life of erotic life, your sexual life, that has been, and maybe you want to enjoy it even more the way it's been, or maybe something wants to change. Allow that to come through. So perhaps now you will enjoy flowers in a different way. Maybe they will remind you how to live. No teacher, no person. A flower will remind you how to live in this remembrance of sweetness, power, the rapture, the simplicity, the innocence, the naturalness. So, beloveds, we have come to the end. I've invited your journal to write down anything after this that has been meaningful for you. Also, I forgot to mention that next May, the 23rd to the 30th of May in Greece, I'll be offering my first live Egyptian Tantra retreat, where we will focus very much on this Isis-Osiris union of Tantric alchemy and also the other Neteru. So anyway, stay tuned. If you like it, there's more to have, there's more to experience, and I will send you the links all later. All right, so thank you and see you around. Much love.